Life's a game, the world's a stage, and we are merely role players, where theatrical people play role-playing games. I'm Matt Boothman, and I'm your compere for this main house production. Here on Merely Role Players, we improvise stories to entertain ourselves, and you, the audience at home. And we use role-playing games to keep the story going places even we can't see coming. Because as theatrical people, we're all about maximising the drama. This episode is part of our current main house production, Vigil, Playtime. In this production, we're playing Monster of the Week, a role-playing game by Michael Sands, published by Evil Hat. For now, though, please take your seats in the main house. Tonight's production is about to begin. Vigil, a Merely Role Players main house production. Playtime, Act 4 of 5.
I'm Dave and I play Mick the Mundane. Mick is Sheridan's favourite builder, but his life has been getting weirder since he dug too deep and hit a leyline.
I'm Vicky and I play Renko the Flake. Renko is a doom agent on furlough who was assigned to Sheridan and is now convinced something significant is happening in town.
Hi there, my name's Alexander Pankhurst and I play Graham the Summoned. Graham's just your average accountant who happens to be a demon and is destined to bring about the apocalypse. You know, just your regular, average stuff.
I'm Ellie and I play Percy Byron, the Exile, a Victorian monster hunter and half-sister to Ada Lovelace. Percy tried to time travel to 1666 to stop the summoning of an apocalyptic demon, but something went wrong. And she's landed here in the present day.
So Pip, can you tell me what you saw? All I know is that one of your teachers has disappeared.
Mr. Spencer came in while we were playing a game, and then he got ate by a shark.
The bell signifies playtime.
End of play means end of shark.
In a conversation with Pippa, we discovered that her classroom teacher, she said, held her hand and it made her feel warm. We should clean up the sharks, but we should also question this Miss Campbell.
So shall we summon some more sharks?
Shark murder?
Soak the carpet, apply electricity to it, and electrocute the sharks.
Percy, you feel a hand on your shoulder, and you hear the voice of Harold Longridge. What on earth is going on here? Graham, in the classroom, you can see the sharks rise suddenly from the now electrified water with their mouths open in silent sharky screams. And you can smell like cooking fish.
Oh boy, Peter are going to be right on us for this.
Like, you can see that they're singed, and you can see that they're like parts of their muscles around their fins are twitching and bunching as they're electrified, and they both begin to attempt to dive once again. Renko and Mick outside, positioned at the windows. You see this happen through the windows inside the classroom, and you can also faintly hear Mr. Longridge's voice from the doorway and see the beam of his torch illuminating Percy. What does anybody do?
I'm going to elbow him in the face.
Roll plus tough.
So I want to just try and knock him out.
Lovely old job.
Get unarmed attacks do 1 harm.
Perfect.
Okay. Oh dear.
Don't accidentally kill him. Mark that XP.
So that's a 5.
You move to elbow him, but because he is, like, you're crouching with this broom handle, he's standing over you. He's just in better position than you, even though you're better trained, and manages to dodge the elbow, and almost like he's not exactly fighting, but just like on instinct, because you moved aggressively, belts you with his big torch across the head.
We know that hitting people with torches is a bad idea.
Very dangerous.
You take 1 harm. You drop the broom handle in the electrified water, and you fall down.
On the safe floor?
On the safe floor.
Okay.
But he's now standing.
I'm prone.
And he takes a step back so that he's a bit more out of your range.
Yeah.
And says, I don't understand what's happening here. And he turns to run.
Yeah. Can I scream, someone stop him?
Yeah, I'm going to run in. I think I'm going to run like round the classroom, whatever I've got to do to get back inside to go after him.
Cool, we'll resolve that in a second.
I'll dive through the window to start helping with the sharks, I guess.
Amazing.
Oh, Jesus.
So I guess that counts as charging into immediate danger.
That's...
I mean, don't just dive through the window.
Onto a table.
Onto a table.
With sledgehammer first, so the sledgehammer smashes the window, and I roll on the table.
That is a great entrance.
Too sexy.
So let's go in the classroom. Let's follow Mick through the window. Graham, you're still secure standing on your table. The two of you are at opposite ends of this table bridge now, and you can both see that the sharks, though they are moving in a stuttery, electrified sort of way, are attempting to dive down under the carpet where you can't reach them. What do you do?
I don't just have a gigantic hell sword. I also have a shotgun.
Where does he keep this stuff?
Which is strapped to my back.
Nice.
And I'm just going to pull that out and unload it straight into one of the sharks.
Amazing. Is this like a farmer's shotgun that you sort of crack to load it, or is it a pump action sort of tactical jobby?
I don't think Graham's got anything vaguely tactical. I don't even if he understands what tactical means. He just goes for the thing that looks ornate and lovely. So it looks like a proper old sort of
walnut stock.
Yeah, it's a beautiful looking gun. Like, it is engraved. It is lovely. It smells of that like gun oil. It's real nice. It's real nice. And I unload that straight into one of the sharks.
All right, you're in a pretty secure position here. There's the only thing I can think that might go wrong is you could the recoil could knock you back off the desk. But I think you've used this gun before. You're more competent than that. Yeah. So I think just deal your harm.
Brilliant. Take 3 harm.
Less 1 for shark skin.
It's also got a property, this gun, called reload.
Yes.
What does that mean?
That just means it's going to be a little bit of scene time before you're able to fire.
Okay.
You can't just keep going.
Yeah, it's not like a bam, bam, bam. Cool, gotcha.
Mr. Longridge visibly jumps at the sound of the shotgun.
Right, Mr. Longridge, calm down.
And the sound of breaking glass as dives through a window.
Mick, what do you do in the classroom?
I think I kind of join in with what Graham's doing, and I'm not sure if I'd be able to, from the table, get any kind of like downward motion on the shark.
You could sort of swing it like a croquet mallet.
That's a good shot. Yeah, so I'm going to attempt that.
Okay, are you going for the same one that Graham's just... So, like, fountain of shark blood from the shell going off in the shark. And immediately Mick comes swinging with the hammer. I think this is a bit more difficult. Yeah. This is a bit more of a difficult manoeuvre with a sledgehammer, so roll plus cool.
Okay. 7, but maybe it's not 7. Maybe I'll spend some luck and just do it. Can I do that?
Yeah. Okay. Not necessarily in this moment, but at some point this mystery you're going to find something weird.
I will.
Ooh.
It says maybe even useful.
But definitely weird.
Welcome to your life.
Okay, so it's a 12 now.
Brilliant. You do what you set out to do. What's the harm on your sledgehammer?
It is 3. Does that finish the shark off?
Reduced by shark skin, it is on its last fins.
Yeah.
So can I then use one of my holds to inflict 1 extra harm in
Absolutely.
that roll?
So the momentum from
my cool roll.
Yeah, because you're just operating totally on adrenaline. You've charged in without really thinking. and your momentum from that roll just carries you into this mighty sledgehammer blow. This all happens in a split second. The shotgun goes off, there's a fountain of shark blood, and immediately in the next half second there's this uppercut from the sledgehammer that knocks the shark completely up and out of the water and onto its back.
Yep, that makes sense. I can sometimes be stronger than I think.
You certainly can. Yeah, this is like an example of Mick's slightly freakish strength, Graham.
Graham is enthralled. Enthralled.
Are you enthralled almost too much and the other shark's going to get away, or are we going to be able to do something?
Oh, no. I've logged the enthrallment for a later assessment.
Yeah. Outside the classroom, Mr. Longridge is on his way back to the school building to who knows what. He jumps at the sound of the shotgun. Renko is en route. Percy is on the floor. What does anybody do?
I was wondering if I arrive at the doorway of the classroom just as the Mick's epic hammer swing happens, and I'm just looking at it how is that even possible? And then I'm going to turn and go straight after him. Oh, Mr. Longridge, we spoke earlier. If I could just have a moment. I'm going to try and calm him down.
Okay, roll plus charm.
Okay. I have a +1 for charm. That's a 10.
Wait. For this move, the idea of it is you want him to do something for you, which is stop, don't go, call the police, or whatever it is he's going to do. You have to offer him something to do that. And it doesn't have to be something tangible. It can be some sort of assurance or something along those lines. So what is it that you say or that you offer or whatever that causes him to stop?
Mr. Longridge, is it? We can explain what's going on. We're just trying to help solve the problem, and you don't need to worry. But if you could just come with me a moment, I can explain everything, and I'm sure you'll feel much better.
He stops and he turns. Both of you standing there in the rain. It's matting down his mane of hair.
Is it raining? I hadn't noticed.
I hate that bit. That feels so much.
And he looks scared and upset. I just don't understand what's going on. You said that you worked for the police or someone, but aren't you that person who didn't you used to work for the Heritage Committee? Please, you don't have to keep lying to me. Just tell me what's happening here.
Let's go to your office and we can have you can have a cup of tea and a sit down, and we'll go through everything.
He sort of looks over your shoulder at the electrical flashing coming through the windows of the classroom.
You see a shark go.
Blood spatter.
And then looks back at Renko's practiced calming expression that she has been trained to use to calm down witnesses in strange situations, and he says, "All right, I'll make us some chamomile."
Yeah.
What a wetty.
No, bless him. I think Renko knows that if she can just keep him calm for long enough, there's parts of it he's just going to forget about.
Absolutely.
That's a tried and tested technique.
Yeah, if you can get him away from the situation long enough and calm enough. Yeah. Percy, what are you doing?
I really want to stand up.
Easy, yeah.
In that crouch.
Yeah. Do you just scramble to your feet, or do you do one of those cool martial artists flip to your feet?
Something in between the two of those, a really quick hop straight up onto my feet, and I'm immediately starting to shoot at the shark that is not currently being eviscerated by my colleagues.
Perfect. This shark it reacted to the shotgun blast by trying to move to a clear bit of carpet water that it could use to dive, getting out of the way of the uppercutted carcass of its fellow shark. So there are some tables and bits, table legs and bits in the way, but you can definitely make this shot. It can't attack you from where it is. So how much harm does that bow do?
The bow does 2 harm close, 1 harm far. I feel like I'm quite close.
You're close, yeah. So close range is you could see the whites of its eyes.
Yeah.
If it had whites, that wasn't a shark.
Correct.
If it didn't have eyes like a doll's eye.
Yeah.
Has it got those like wobbly eyes like you get on greetings cards?
Yeah, it's got googly eyes.
Googly eyes. Oh my god.
That makes it simultaneously much funnier and much scarier.
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of like chaotically whimsical.
Yeah. It just turns its head and like more's dripping in victims' blood. But it's just
horrible. Yeah.
That's what happens when kids imagine sharks.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
That's why they're dangerous.
Where does the arrow hit it?
Right between the eyes.
Right between the eyes. For 2 harm, -1 for its shark skin.
Okay.
It looks still in pretty decent shape,
Yeah.
but you've definitely hurt it with that.
I'm just going to keep reloading and shooting.
Okay.
And I'm really quick at the like...
Yeah. You are a practiced archer and can reload from your quiver and fire very quickly. Mick and Graham are seeing arrows sink into this shark. Do you do anything, or do you just leave Percy to it?
I mean, I feel like I was really lucky hitting that other shark, so I think I should stop.
So you're going to stop doing that. Graham is not going to reload. He's going to whip out the Magnum.
Oh my god, how much stuff do you have?
I came fully loaded.
I love the idea that he's got this shotgun on his back all of the time and we're only just noticing it.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
No. I don't wander around with it, but I knew I was going out, so I was like, I'll bring my Magnum, I'll bring my shotgun.
You were like on the top of the van, like just clinging on, just with a shotgun strapped on. And we didn't notice.
We did that whole slow-mo walk across the field as well.
And again, he was like, and we're just like...
To Alex's credit, he did say he had a shotgun when you were doing the slow walk across the field.
I know, but I feel like we still just didn't notice.
I feel like for most humans, you have this like weird mirage thing about you, right? So I think even weapons, people just don't quite register if you've got them.
Yeah, I buy that.
It just folds into the whole sense of people just look at me and go, I don't really want to speak to be near him.
I don't want to spend any more time looking at this thing than I have to.
Yeah.
Oh. So where do you pull the Magnum from? Is it in a holster? Is it in your waistcoat?
It's in a holster. I just strapped to my thigh, Han Solo style, because easy access.
Magnum.
And I obviously shoot first. And yeah, I'm gonna plug one into the shark that we were already shooting at. The damage it does is, if I'm allowed to just do this, it is 3 harm.
Ooh.
He's a great person to have in this situation. I can't believe we were worried.
So 3 harm -1 is 2 harm. It has 1 harm left that it can take. What finishes it off? Is it the electricity or is it Percy?
Well, I mean, obviously I would like it to be Percy.
So tell us how you administer the coup de grace. The coup de grace, sorry.
Coup de grace. Well,
Like a cup of grass. The cup of grass.
Oh, no. I offer a chamomile tea.
And that's what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, my arrows have been pretty constant, and I just get extra angry that it's not dead yet, and aim one final arrow that goes straight through and splinters directly down the shaft of the first arrow that I'd shot.
Nice.
Between the eyes.
Such a marksman.
And its googly eyes roll back in its head. And it just slowly sinks beneath the carpet.
Oh yeah, arrows and all. Interestingly enough, the arrows, though they were not part of the shark, do go with it below the carpet.
Curious.
It looks like a really disgusting version of those pineapple and cheese hedgehogs that you get at like 70s dinner parties.
Yeah.
Whoa. Those delicious.
Oh, they're delicious,
pineapple
but they
and
look
cheese.
disgusting.
Oh, right, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And all this happens in the time it takes for the final echo of the bell to fade away. And all that's left is the smell of gunpowder, the crackling of the electricity still running through the water, and the gentle lapping of the water at the edges of the classroom, and the sound of the rain on the roof.
It must smell so bad.
It's awful.
I love it.
It's like wet dog, because the carpets, school carpets are gross, and then you get them wet. That is bad times.
Yeah.
And then there's like burnt, dead fish. It's all bad.
Yeah.
But Graham's quite happy with this smell. He's like, there's cordite, there's burning, there's fish,
It's
there's weird
reminds you of
damp
home.
smells. Yeah, I'm kind of happy. Apart from the damp, the damp's a nuance that I quite like.
Yeah.
It's like a nostalgic smell.
To show off, because I've obviously lost the broom handle. Can I just shoot an arrow at the socket to turn it back on?
Yes.
Amazing, thank you. And I do it like almost immediately after killing the shark. I don't even blink, I just swivel and shoot the socket to off.
Amazing.
Yeah, it works just like a Star Wars door control. Like, shooting it can either turn it on or off depending on what state it's in to start with.
Yeah.
And so there's a long, quiet moment as all three of you catch your breath.
I think I audibly exhale because I've held my breath the entire time.
Alright, lovies. It's me, Matt, your compere, just emerging from the wings to stretch my legs in the interval. If you're into theatre and tabletop role-playing games, and all the fun stuff that can happen when they overlap, then there's a show coming up that I think you need to know about. And if you're not into those things, well done for sticking with us this far. The show is a semi-improvised panto, specifically Jack and the Beanstalk, created especially for streaming and drawing on role-playing games as part of the process. The community experience of sitting together in the same space as a theatre audience is something we've all had to miss out on this year. And Panto depends on a really amped up version of that community experience, where you, the audience, are also a character in the show, with your own lines. Except it's not like that anxiety dream, because enough people around you always know the words, and there's enough repetition that you can always pick it up. Like when you can join in with the chorus the second or third time round, even if you haven't heard the song before. This show's looking for ways to bring that experience back to 2020. Jack and the Beanstalk is happening at 8 PM UTC this Friday and Saturday, the 11th and 12th of December, at twitch.tv/rollflipstream. You'll recognise our own player and sound designer Natalie Winter among the cast, and I'll be there hanging out in the chat on the Friday, presumably typing, "Oh no it isn't," in all caps. Info and links are in the programme notes for this episode. Next, just before I head back to the wings to call beginners for the next scene, Sherrydown Town Council are sort of hovering around me, fidgeting and giving me significant looks, which I think means they want me to read you this brief message. Sherrydown is twinned with Whispering Pines, the not-so-ordinary summer camp for those hazy days and chilled summer nights. Campers laughing, fireflies glowing, campfires crackling long into the night, and a gaunt, cruel monstrosity forever hiding just out of sight, always asking, "What do you do next?" You can find out more about Whispering Pines and meet some of its eccentric camp counsellors, played by me, Nat, Josh and Strat from Merely Roleplayers, in the Sleepaway one-shot, now playing on What Am I Rolling, a twice-monthly RPG one-shot podcast. Available on the What Am I Rolling website and wherever you find podcasts. Okay, now that's calmed the council down, please can you all take your seats once again in the main house, as we raise the curtain on Vigil, Playtime, Act 4 of 5. The staff room at Sherrydown Primary is in the original main building, and it is probably too small for the number of staff. There are pigeonholes, there's a whole cupboard thing on the wall with a pigeonhole for every teacher, with bits of post and work and stuff spilling out of them. There is a little kitchenette with like a big tub of instant coffee granules and a dirty kettle. And yeah, Mr. Longridge opens a locked drawer in the kitchen and gets out a couple of chamomile tea bags and starts putting a brew on. And you can see that he's visibly trembling. Mm-hmm. But you can also see the slightly wrinkled brow that you often see in people who are right in the grip of the emission effect.
Yeah.
That he is trying to reconcile what he remembers with what he knows is true and finding things that are a bit off, but like not voicing it
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't.
Because you makes you sound crazy. Yeah.
So as he makes the tea, what do you do?
Mr. Longridge, why don't you have a sit down and let me finish making that tea now that you've got the tea bags out?
Oh, all right.
So I'm just gonna get him sat down and then go back and, make the tea, and as it's brewing, I kind of want to leave it a little bit because I know that the more his brain tries to work it out, the more likely it is that actually it's going to forget some key elements. Oh, it's really unfortunate having the leak in the classroom, isn't it, from all of that rainwater? But I'm sure Mick's in there right now, and I'm sure he'll be getting that fixed right up for you.
The leak. It has been very wet, and those classrooms are very old.
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes, it's good. It's good that Mick was on site. Why was he on site? Something's been bothering me. You said you were part of an organisation that deals with situations like this. What did you mean by situations like this?
Oh, situations where old buildings are in need of immediate repair. Yeah, the Heritage Association.
You're still doing some Heritage Committee work?
Yeah, here and there. I decided to stay on in the town for personal reasons, and they've allowed me to continue to work within the capacity of the kind of expertise that I was, bringing to the table when I was working with the Heritage Association. And every now and again, Mick will bring me along on a job and have me kind of take a look at something and give him some advice about how he might handle it. That sort of thing.
I suppose I'd never thought of those old terrapins as having any historical value, but I suppose everything does in a certain light.
Well, that's it. In 30, 40 years' time, even a porter cabin can be a historical artefact.
I'm sorry if I overreacted. The work that you and Mick were doing in there, it was very loud, and I think I got a bit alarmed.
Yes, that can happen, and obviously you've had a very stressful day, so no doubt that's all playing into it.
I have. I worry about the email I had to send to the parents. I don't think it was very reassuring.
Well, the police are investigating, and I'm sure they'll have some more answers that you can provide the parents and the teachers at the school. You've really done the best that you can given the circumstances.
Thank you for saying so.
Yeah, well, drink some of that tea and you'll feel much better. Can I ask you something while we're here?
I don't see why not.
Do I need to roll for mystery investigation?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So I'm rolling +2 shark.
Plus shark.
Is 13.
Heck yeah. So again, if you want to talk through what it is that you're trying to find out, we'll see if we can fit it.
So I think the questions that apply to the creature that are in this section, I'm just going to apply to Mrs. Campbell instead.
Yeah.
Because that's who I'm asking about. And we currently imagine that she may be more than human in some way. There's a teacher, Pippa's classroom teacher, Mrs. Campbell. She mentioned.
Yeah. Mm-hmm, yes.
Yeah, she been at the school. Been at the school a while.
Longer than me. Yes.
Oh right, she's been at the school a long time. Pippa. We went to see them this evening. Just to check in because she's Mick's niece, and just to see how she was doing. And she mentioned that Mrs. Campbell had given her a lot of confidence lately to take more of a lead with the other children. And I just thought, what a commendable and excellent attitude for a teacher to have. And I was just wondering if you could, it's the first I'd really come across her name, and I just wondered if you could tell me a bit more about her, because she sounds like a great teacher.
Yes, as far as I know, she is. Everybody at the school talks very highly of her. Yes, she takes a personal interest in the children's well-being as well as their learning. Wants to make sure that they're forming good, productive relationships and that sort of thing. I don't know all that much about her personally. She took up smoking quite recently, which is an odd thing to do for later in life.
Yeah, it's very strange to hear of adults taking up smoking.
Yes, she's been very hoarse the last couple of weeks. It makes it makes you wonder what she's really getting out of it. But everybody has their... teaching's very stressful. Everybody has their coping mechanisms.
I have no doubt. That sounds like quite the change of behaviour, I guess, in a way. Is anything else that's been different about her in the last couple of weeks?
That's all that really seems to have changed. It's a new habit.
As you say, it's a stressful job, so, anything could make someone take up smoking. So I think I've spent one on what sort of creature is it, which is asking about her as a person.
Yeah, and so you like the smoking, you obviously have an immediate association.
Yeah.
Or Renko immediately, not knowing yet whether she's right to or not, but can immediately make a connection with Graham.
Yeah, and it just seems like it isn't, you're right, it's an odd thing for a grown-up person to be doing. And then... there's a question on here which is where did it go, and I'm going to use my one for that to ask if I if I can find out where she lives.
Yeah, so you could do that either by asking him, or you've got an opportunity to go through her pigeonhole here, which would give you the same result.
Yeah, I might do something like that.
It might make more sense if you get it from her pigeonhole rather than him giving out another teacher's address.
Yeah, I was thinking that it would probably be more like I would have to come up with a reason why I wanted to see her, which would probably be something like to do with, thanking her for what she's done for Pippa or something like that, but it would still be weird for him to just give out information.
Yeah.
Maybe while I'm chatting with him, I can sort of go over to the pigeonhole and just sort of...
Yeah, or on your way out, maybe.
just have a look, because
I think it's sort of on the way into the staff room, so if he stays there with his cuppa... then you would be able to look at the pigeonholes without him seeing you as you leave.
Yeah. So maybe I've finished my tea, so I'll just say, so the tea's making you feel a bit calmer. I think I might go back and just see if Mick needs anything, and we'll get cleaned up and get out of here.
Thank you. Yes, and don't tell him. Don't worry about finishing tonight. We weren't going to use that classroom tomorrow anyway, with the bloodstained carpet and everything. So if he needs to take another day or two about it, then that's absolutely fine.
I mean, I'm sure replacing the carpet in the classroom will be the only option now that it's got soaking wet. So yeah, I'll let him know, and I'll see myself out.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then as I go past the pigeonholes that are on the way out, obviously she's Campbell, so she's probably in the top left corner, and I think I'm just going to swipe everything that's in the pigeonhole on my way past so that I can have a look at it in the corridor.
Nice going. Yep, you definitely find out her address from that. Anything else that you think you want to find out from it? I guess there might be some schoolwork in. I mean, she teaches 6-year-olds, so there's probably not schoolwork.
I was thinking it's probably more likely to be things like her pay slip, and that's probably where I figure out that's where I would get her address from.
Yep.
Or any subscriptions.
Yeah, and then maybe there would be some things she's probably got her National Teachers Union magazine and stuff in there, and what else would be in a teacher's pigeonhole, Dave? That kind of stuff.
Mostly advertisements.
Yeah, just some junk as well.
Stuff.
Educational courseware and stuff.
Yeah.
Depending on what her area of expertise was.
Well, she's I mean, if she's not a curriculum person.
I suppose some places, though, you might end up, if there's stuff that you would normally get delivered to home, but
maybe
might get delivered to school instead.
Yeah.
Just trying to think, is there anything that in that realm that would be useful? But
well, there's a half-empty packet of cigarettes in there.
Yeah.
Cheap ones, really, really, the cheapest possible ones that you can get.
Yeah, smoking are us cheapo cigs.
Sainsbury's basic cigarettes.
Yeah.
Other basic cigarettes are available.
I'm wondering if this is a good time for me to spend my hold for Connect the Dots.
If you wanna.
I'm excited.
What are you thinking? You've got questions you can ask me about.
There are so many choices here.
For the benefit of the tape, can I just say, as soon as smoking was mentioned, everyone's faces looked massively suspicious.
Yeah.
We were just like, what?
Hang on a minute.
I have a question. Is there a way, a way that, me with my background knowledge or Graham as a demon would be able to identify if another person in inverted commas is a demon or is possessed? Are there ways that we would be able to know that straight away? or how would it work to work?
Would that be
out?
a use magic?
I think there has to be a way.
Yeah.
Of course there does. I think it would, it would be some variation on investigate mystery. Like, investigate mystery, what sort of creature is it? Would be a way to...
Yeah.
And you would have to describe, like, what it is that you do to determine that, but we can just make that up as an in-world.
And also, if you're joining the dots and you're hearing all of this information, it could trigger suspicion in either Percy or Graham for them to think, hold on, that sounds familiar because of these reasons, and at which point you can then investigate rather than go, how do I find that out? You kind of think that there's
It
something
would just be
up.
interesting to establish, I guess we will end up establishing, like, in lore, in this universe, a way in which you would twig that someone is a demon or possessed by a demon. Like, they smell of bananas or whatever.
I figure, like, a demon can probably recognise another demon if they're not making an effort to conceal themselves. Like, Graham, I don't know whether Graham is making a conscious effort all the time to look human, or whether
He just looks
you just
human.
look like this. And, like, you could make, maybe, if you made a super conscious effort, you could suppress the weirdness. I guess you probably can't because it's a core move of the playbook.
I think one of the things that I quite liked is when we were talking about why I've got these guns on me. Maybe it's like a demonic attack that I know cannot look like a demonic attack.
Yeah.
So I go, it's going to have to look like an
it's a
earth
magnum,
weapon.
yeah.
Oh, it's an earth weapon. So
I love that.
That's great.
So that
So
I was
actually,
just thinking about it.
you're shooting, like, fossilised ink out of your tentacles.
Or fire, or like something like that, but I've just disguised it as a shotgun.
Yeah.
It was just the veneer of what it looks like to us.
If somebody had the third eye or the second sight or whatever, they might see what you're really doing, but everybody else sees you shooting off a shotgun.
Which is just like hurling around like motes of flame or whatever.
Oh, that'll be interesting to play with, yeah.
Love it.
I'm going to ask when and where will the next critical event occur?
Okay. If we're talking critical event in terms of, like, this weird thing that is happening at the school with children's games turning weird, the next day, once everybody's back at school and Mrs. Campbell is once again in contact with children.
Yeah. Can I have some bonus information to know whether or not Pippa needs to be at the school for that to happen?
Combining what you've learned about Mrs. Campbell from her post, from what Mr. Longridge has told you, and with what Pippa told you. She infused Pippa with something.
Yeah.
And Pippa, knowingly or not, probably not, used it to turn this game real.
Yeah.
And it is then used up. It's not in her anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
So Pippa playing games is no longer dangerous.
Right.
Unless Mrs. Campbell infuses her some more or infuses a different child.
Yeah, like Pippa isn't special in this context. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
Pippa was a tool.
I wonder if... kind of
So unfair. So, like, she didn't have a
I wonder if the thing
choice.
that I find in her pigeonhole is, like, a note that she's written for herself that is a list of children's names, and Pippa's name is at the top and she's crossed it off.
100% that is what you find.
Clever, clever, clever.
And the edges of the note are slightly scorched.
Oh, nice.
So, like, as Renko has this revelation, like, sorts through the post and finds this list, Pippa's name at the top, crossed off. Like, what is Renko's reaction? Like, is there an outward response?
I think I'm going to do that thing where I'm just, like, holding it and looking at it, and then I look up really suddenly, like, the thunderbolt of, like, realisation has just hit me, and I go herring off back towards the classroom.
Back at the classroom, clean-up is underway.
Yes.
What does a clean-up being underway look like?
Me dragging sharks around, just like, are we loading the sharks into your van?
I think we buried them.
Could bury them.
Where though?
Okay, maybe
Schoolfield.
Yeah, Schoolfield. That's what I was thinking.
So we're the long jump here.
Yeah, that's always loads of horrible stuff in
Oh,
there.
that was always a gross experience.
But yeah, I was,
Always a yogurt pot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why?
Or just a lid.
yeah, I was gonna go for just the ground's wet, really wet from the last few days. Like digging's gonna be all right. Burying.
Shark's pretty great fertiliser.
So yeah, so we need to bury the shark bodies. We need to rip up the carpet. Mm-hmm. Put that in a skip. There's always a skip in a school car park.
True story.
and probably put the wires back in the walls.
Yeah.
Fix all the electrics again.
Fix the plumbing.
We have to reconnect that, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be hanging around Mick like a bad smell because I'm his apprentice once more, and learning all that he can teach me.
While I'm shouting at you, clean up the dead stuff.
Oh yeah.
Your job is dead stuff.
Okay.
Actually, with your expertise, you could probably put them, like, dig the hole, put the stuff in the hole, set it on fire, and then cover it up with more earth.
Oh,
So it's extra disposed of.
I mean, I can absolutely try. Do I have to roll for that?
That's
or-
really, is it a use magic to just randomly
use magic,
set
just be
stuff on
like,
fire?
I think that's definitely use magic.
Yeah, breathe fire on some sharks.
Yeah,
probably
if you
use
want to do
magic.
something like that, sure.
Yeah. So we've dug a hole, and then I light my cigarette.
The process of digging the hole sucks.
Yeah.
It is not
It's really
pleasant.
wet.
It's really muddy. It's still raining. You're just absolutely filthy by the end of the time that you've managed to dig this hole big enough for 3 2-metre sharks.
Am
No,
I?
2 2-metre sharks.
Two 2-metre
Am I
sharks, thank
filthy?
you. I don't know. Are you not?
Yeah, pristine suit
That,
still.
I think that would be the funny thing if I can't quite imagine how wet clothes would look. So I look completely fine.
Oh, that's freaky.
Still no shoes, and I'm just digging a hole.
Incredible scenes.
All right. Yeah, and heave the 2 sharks. One bifurcated.
Yeah.
One with a great big shotgun hole in it.
Oh no, my shark just disappeared, didn't it?
Yeah.
It's only 2 sharks, yeah.
You can sit this one out if you want, have a cup of tea.
You're doing
do
all the
the
electrics.
And the rule isn't whoever kills the shark has to bury it.
That is exactly the rule.
It's not like when you kick a football into a field. You're not the one who has to go.
No.
That's not how it works.
No, that is the rule for shark killing and for
Okay.
footballs into other
Okay.
But it's a
people's
different
gardens.
rule for if you cook the meal, you don't then have to clear it up. So,
Yeah.
I mean...
That's true,
Technically,
that's
if we're
true.
talking about cooking the sharks, that was you. So that's why we're doing the
Yeah.
cleaning up.
True.
So you heave these 2 sharks
Yeah.
into this hole.
I take a nice long big drag of my cigarette and then just blow the smoke into the hole that kind of just covers everything, and there's a slight pause, and then you just hear this.
So roll plus weird.
This is good. Plus 1 weird. That is a fail. So that is it's a massive 5.
Well, you get experience.
I
that's
get
nice.
experience. Just gonna mark that down.
Get that
Oh
XP.
Christ. Also, this is very on brand for Graham.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
He's like, I'm pretty sure I can help here. Maybe, maybe not.
And basically, Percy's just gone overboard, like, no, we need to properly destroy
Yeah,
these
salt
shark
and burn.
boys.
That's probably procedure.
Shark boys.
Yeah.
Old school procedure.
As far as you can tell, Graham, this did what you wanted it to. The sharks go up,
Oh no.
Oh, Jesus.
crackle, crackle, crackle,
Yeah.
despite the rain.
Despite the rain.
Nothing left, just ashes in there, filling the hole. But when you head back to the classroom, Mick and Percy, and probably Renko's got back at this point as well, because it took a little while to dig that hole. What do they see, Graham, now that the blowback from this spell going wrong has cut your glamour and you look like your true self?
Oh boy.
So this is awkward. Graham doesn't look like Graham.
Oh boy.
Graham looks like a roiling mass of tentacles.
Blah. Ooh, I hate tentacles.
And they're kind of oily and black. There is a sheen to them all, and there's no sort of discernible head or legs.
Oh, God.
It's just like this constant writhing knot mass of tentacles kind of weaving in and out of each other. At which point the roiling mass of tentacles turns to you and goes, "What?"
This has been Vigil, a main house production from Merely Roleplayers. It stars Dave as Mick, Vicky as Renko, Ellie Pitkin as Persephone Byron, and Alex Pankhurst as Graham. Sound design for this production is by Natalie Winter, and the theme music is by Alex Pankhurst. I'm Matt Boothman, and I play the supporting cast, as well as editing and producing this episode. We were playing Monster of the Week, a role-playing game by Michael Sands, published by Evil Hat Productions. You can find Monster of the Week at genericgames.co.nz. Merely Roleplayers is a Foggy Outline production in association with Blackshaw Theatre Company. Until next time, if drama be the food of life, play on.
Mrs. Campbell
Nice
sounds
touch.
like an absolute arse.
Yeah.
She's so hot.
Yeah.
I love that. That's your takeaway. She must be very warm.